Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. The new season 4 of 13 Reasons Why is coming your way. And sadly, we're going to be saying goodbye to some of these characters, and one of us is with us here today, Brandon Flynn. Brandon, suicide, rape, domestic violence, sexual abuse, racism, drug addiction, just your average common occurrences in high school. But how important have the discussions of these subject matters been, or at least a dialogue with the show?
They've been extremely important. I mean, we've really tried to take full accountability in making sure that we have proper discussions with proper specialists on each sort of subject. I mean, whether that be calling in therapists who specialize in youth with suicidal tendencies, addiction counselors, activists who are headlining the Me Too movement or different sort of rape prevention programs. We really took a lot of care into making sure that those kind of voices were involved in the writing and the research of this show since day one. And furthermore, we've enlisted the trigger warnings in our show to make sure that our audiences not only felt safe, but also knew that what was coming up ahead might be alarming or triggering.
It's funny though, watching this, because most of the high school shows that I kind of grew up with were about who's going to be your prom date and, oh my God, can I get a new outfit for the first day of school? It just seems to really tap into something that's a lot more reflective about the world we live in, that it's not hiding anything. But for you, when you started going through this, because obviously Justin has an incredible arc that he goes through, were there things that surprised you? Were there elements of the show that even you thought were too provocative, or you thought, my God, finally we're having discussions?
I think the most surprising thing of all is that not only do we still encapture that who is going to be my prom date element, but we encapture the reality of what high school was like for me as well. And, you know, high school is still not, it's not that far from me today. You know, it's been some time, but it's still fairly close. And the reality of my experience was there were all these occurrences. There were all this quote unquote drama, which, you know, in TV we would call conflict, that in a narrative, but that was real life for me. And I think that was the most surprising element of the show, was that continuously we've never really took our foot off that pedal. We've kept going with that. And you've seen a lot of shows like, you know, pull back the rope because of feedback, but our show has really remained dedicated to speaking truthfully and speaking with information on these subjects. And I think overall that's surprising to me to see that on TV today, because even in high school I wasn't watching TV like that.
Every season of the show has kind of had a hook, or at least started with something. Season 1 was obviously the suicide. Season 2 was the trial. Season 3 was there's some type of interrogation going on and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And I don't want to give too much away because I've seen part of season 4, but it starts out at a funeral. So we know something is happening, but we don't know what. What can you say about season 4, especially in terms of Justin?
Yeah. You know, it's going to be that same sort of experience where punches come out of left field, and we always want our audience to remain engaged and surprised and interested in terms of what is the storyline. So we keep that element of mystery really alive in this season as well. Even with that sort of beginning, the mystery is really prevalent throughout the season. And I think overall the story begins a month after where season 3 ends. And for Justin, we saw him ask for help, the help he needs at the end of season 3. He's admitting to his drug problems and his addiction. So we meet him in season 4 after a month in rehab, provided to him by the Jensens, and he comes back home and comes back into his circle of friends. And I think for him, he's on this like path of recovery, you know, which entails a few different things of like remaining honest and trying to kind of keep your own side of the street clean, and sort of in a really big and different way, we see him really try to take initiative in protecting himself from this disease he faces, his disease of addiction. And you know, that ebbs and flows and has its moments of working and has its moments of not working throughout the season.
That's kind of why I actually find Justin one of the more fascinating characters in the show, because when we first were introduced to him in season 1, he's not likable. I mean, there's definitely an aggressive tendency towards him. And as the episodes go and you peel back layers, it's kind of a nice reflection. If you get to know people, everybody, there's an action for every reaction. Why is that he's doing? And you start to be more empathetic towards him. And especially this last season, he's almost the conscious of the show.
Completely. I mean, I think like I've really, really enjoyed playing Justin. It's been such a journey with him that's been reflected in my own life, and I get to watch the season and just be like, what a great guy, because especially with what I just mentioned, like in the first season, he's such an unlikable person, and a lot of them are really unlikable. A lot of them are like shrouded in secrecy and denial for their part in the involvement of Hannah Baker and the involvement of all the problems that pursued that. But we see Justin kind of step up in the first episode, and he's just honest. There are some really funny moments of him like outing people in the show, because he's like, no, I have to be honest. I have to save myself in this situation. And by that, it's honesty. And that's kind of been his journey, trying to figure out that friction between helping yourself and helping others, and what that looks like and how to go about it.
Have you learned to make a mean cup of cappuccino now?
I've been baristaing in my life before. I have baristaed before, but I have to brush up my skills.
Much like Justin is graduating from high school, in a sense, you're graduating too. This is the end of the season, and you've got a movie coming out this summer, which is kind of your college or your adult experience. Looks That Kill. Interesting premise that you're too attractive and you can kill people. Introduce us to this and talk about how exciting this was for you as an artist to make this movie.
It was really exciting. It's actually a movie that I filmed a few years ago, so I'm super excited that it gets to see the light of day. And even more exciting, it gets to come out now in the world we're living in with COVID, and people having to, you know, live by these new sort of rules and engage in isolation. It's a story about a boy who kind of is cursed, and later on, you know, comes to terms with that maybe his curse is his gift. And it really stretches this narrative of what's beneath the surface, and in this world of sort of social media and dating apps and all these things that allow us to see so surface leveled, we explore the story of what's happening for a boy underneath it all, and how does he communicate with the world when he can't operate through surface, when the surface is lethal. And trying to find the beauty of what's underneath.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your time. 4 years of this show. I can't wait for people to start peeling back the layers of season 4 to what they've been doing. The show is 13 Reasons Why. Brandon Flynn, thank you so much. This is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Yeah.